Assalamu alaikum, this is Khalid and you're watching the 8th episode of Arab Player Battle Spot. Yesterday I wanted to record an episode, but I was a bit too tired to do that. So I decided to make up for you guys by having like an extra episode, which I'll call episode 8. So yesterday I was playing on the battle spot just to warm up before recording, or before I decided that I'm too tired to record. I had a few good games, some of them losing, some of them winning. This is the most interesting one I had, so I'm sharing it here just for you guys. You can see on my side, I led with Thunderous and Landorus with Gardevoir and the Mungus in the back. On his side, there's Landorus and Sylveon in the front, and Kangaskhan Heatran in the back. I don't like how the game organizes it, because it's like supposed to be like on the edges. That's the lead. Like the leftmost Pokemon are the lead, and the rightmost Pokemon are the lead. So maybe they should do something like some sort of an indicator, like this is the lead, instead of like just putting Pokemon like this, and they're all facing to the left. So, well, when I say left, yeah, that side, they're all facing to the left, and they look like it almost looks like Kangaskhan Heatran is the lead, which it isn't. Anyway, let's go in. There's Joseph. There's Landorus and Thunderous. Thank you, genies. It is like quite good lead actually, unless you're facing mirror Thunderous Landorus, which kind of becomes awkward. So his Intimidate goes first, and my Intimidate goes second. It could be a speed tie. It could be because his Landorus is Jolly. We do not know yet. There's his Kangaskhan. And I switch out my Landorus into my Amoonguss, expecting Hyper Voice or something. But Sylveon just protects. And I go for the Swagger onto Sylveon, which doesn't work out. So there's the Kangaskhan, the Mega Kangaskhan. I went for Swagger onto the Sylveon, and Spore onto Kangaskhan. Of course, he decided to go after the Thunderous, and his Sylveon goes for a Substitute. He might have been expecting me to go after the Sylveon, but I just went straight for to sporing the Kangaskhan. Now that Substitute is going to be really annoying later on. He switches out his Kangaskhan without spending any turns sleeping, which is perfect for me, knowing it can't fake out whenever it comes in. So there's Heatran, and I switch out my Thunderous, bring in my Gardevoir, knowing the Sylveon will protect, which it did. People like to protect after the Substitute, and I went for the Giga Drain onto the Kangaskhan slot, which is now Heatran. And he reveals the leftovers. So looking at that, I went straight for the offensive with Gardevoir, going for the Hyper Voice. I was thinking maybe Heatran would take the chance to do something, but it didn't, and just did his Substitute. So my Hyper Voice did quite some damage, and interestingly enough, he goes for Calm Mind, boosting up his defenses and, well, not defenses, his special defense and his special attack. I spore the Heatran, but that doesn't work out. Knowing the threat, I immediately switch out into my Thunderous. Something's wrong with the audio. Okay. His Heatran goes first, interestingly enough. My Gardevoir isn't the fastest, so it's not that surprising. So I just go for the Hyper Voice, doing quite some good damage. And there's a Calm Mind from the Sylveon. Now the Protect is very obvious from the Sylveon on the next turn. So here I decided to start breaking the substitutes, so whenever something gets knocked out from my side, at least I can bring in Landorus and start hitting them. Heatran goes for the Heat Wave once again. I'm really glad Gardevoir is quite good on the special defense side. And my Thundurus is especially bulky, calm, and 252 HP and some special defense. So we break the substitute. And there's my Hyper Voice, not doing anything to Sylveon, but at least does something to Heatran. My Gardevoir is max special attack, so you'll see it does quite a lot of damage, even to Heatran, despite the double resist. So there's a Thunderbolt into Sylveon. I want to break the substitute as fast as possible, just so I can safely bring in my Landorus. I know I was expecting the Hyper Voice. I knew it would knock out my Pokemon. So now I have a safe switch in with Landorus to knock them both out, because I know it is definitely faster than both of them. Now the Sylveon restored quite a lot of HP with that leftovers. There's the Intimidate. Now if Sylveon survives Landorus' attack, it would be very dangerous for me, because I know it will be able to knock out Landorus instantly, which I desperately need here. Thankfully, Rock Slide connects with Heatran, taking it out, but Sylveon protects. And with that it restored quite a lot of HP, almost half. So there's his Landorus. So right now there's there's no way I can win this. I know Rock Slide won't be enough to knock out the Sylveon. So I have to hope he doesn't flinch my Landorus, and I flinch his Sylveon. And it did get flinched. And I get the Spore. But thinking about it, with Heatran out, my Amoonguss could do something here, even with the Landorus is knocked out, but it would be a very tough battle. So there's his Rock Slide. So at this point it's obvious his Landorus is jolly, since it outsped me at least 3 times already. His Sylveon stays asleep, and I Spore his Landorus. Now Sylveon already spent 1 turn sleeping, and it's almost going to get knocked out. He switches out his Landorus and brings in Kangaskhan. I know I'm safe from Kangaskhan. He goes first with the Protect and wakes up, so he just had a single turn of sleep. I go for the Rock Slide. I can't do anything because I'm banded. And since I'm banded, I actually do quite some okay damage even after the Intimidate. And with the Giga Drain, we do quite some nice damage onto the Kangaskhan. It looks like about 40% damage. Sylveon restores some HP again. So now, with 2 Intimidates, can his Sylveon survive? This is where the Choice Band does work. And we get the knockout on the Sylveon. So we're definitely safe. And I Giga Drain the Landorus, just barely surviving in the red. He brings in his Kangaskhan. At this point, his Kangaskhan did not spend any turn sleeping. His Landorus I think that's his second turn of sleep. Thankfully we connect with the landers and knock it out. And his Kangaskhan is now in the yellow. Just enough for a knockout in the next turn. My Amoonguss gets a critical hit, but it probably doesn't matter much. And at this point my opponent realized there's no way he could win this with a sleeping Kangaskhan and an Amoonguss with a Rocky Helmet, which I did not reveal yet. I actually brought the Amoonguss just for Kangaskhan, but it ended up winning me the entire game by putting everything to sleep. So a good game with Joseph. That flinch on his Sylveon was very unfortunate, but it happens. This is where best of threes are better for this game. Like those sorts of deviations won't matter too much in a best of three, since there's like in more games you kind of equalize the balance between luck and skill. So it kind of all works out in the end. So thank you for watching, and I believe I'll start recording the 9th episode soon. So see you in a few hours, I suppose, or in most cases if you're like sleeping in the time of this recording, you'll probably see both episodes up by the time you wake up, or by the time you check on YouTube. So see you in a bit, or see you in the next episode.